Okay, so our next regional area, very small, is called Tidewater. And it's the area in and surrounding Washington, D.C. So this area was built by young English gentry in the area around the Chesapeake Bay and North Carolina. And it's started out as a kind of a feudal society that embraced slavery. So the region places a high value on respect for authority and tradition. Our author, Woodard, notes that Tidewater is in decline partly because it has been eaten away by the expanding federal halos around Washington, D.C. and Norfolk, Virginia. So Norfolk, Virginia is a huge military naval base that is forever expanding. D.C. has its own native music genre. It's called go-go. It's a post-funk percussion-driven flavor of R&B with some Latin beat to it. Got a quick video on that. Washington, D.C. is very diverse and therefore sees plenty of different cultural highlights, with most revolving around the arts. Live music and dance is big in the city, and although go-go performances were once banned, it is still possible to catch an act in a jazz club. Live jazz and blues can be heard everywhere, thanks to Duke Ellington, who performed in many of the clubs in the early days in Washington, D.C. Of course, D.C. is a national center for the arts, famed for its numerous art galleries, museums, theaters. Today, the city has a strong indie music that started in the 80s with punk. It is also a major center for sports, hosting big professional teams such as the NBA's Washington Wizards, the National Hockey League's Washington Capitals, and the National Football League's Washington Redskins. By the way, they're thinking of changing the name, which they probably should. There have been several television series that have featured the Washington, D.C. district. Most of these have been related to government, such as West Wing, Commander-in-Chief, House of Cards, or maybe security organizations. Get Smart was kind of a spoof on CIA. The District, Murphy Brown, another TV series focused on the lives of reporters of a fictional Washington-based television news magazine, FYI. A soap opera called Capital allowed for stories about political intrigue, along with traditional class struggle sagas. The sitcom 227 portrayed the life of the African-American majority as seen through the eyes of residents in a Washington apartment building. There are also many movies shot and filmed in the city yearly. The district has been host to several movies where the main characters are often linked to politics. Wedding Crashers, Being There, Hollow Man, National Treasure. The Washington Post is the oldest and most daily read newspaper in Washington, and it has developed into one of the most reputable daily newspapers in the U.S. It is most notable for exposing the Watergate scandal, among other achievements. So, around the Washington, D.C. area, if you ever have a chance to visit, Washington is a must-go-to place. All of the beautiful architecture, museums, statues, monuments, they're all within a walking area of the capital area. Some of the greatest restaurants in the world are right in that area there. There's a nice waterfront area within a walking distance. But surrounding this beautiful, luxurious, affluent area is all surrounded on the outskirts by poverty. Kind of a contradiction in terms. And why that is and why that should continue, that's a big question. Okay, so that's a little bit about Tidewater, and we'll move on to our next slide from here.